So do you like import it as an MP4 and then that in, and you had to just meld them?
Yeah, and then I remove the audio from the video and then put this in. Yeah,
overlay that.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's a bit interesting when I have to try to match it up because like if you're off slightly, it just looks wrong. Like it's so close, but it looks.
I wouldn't
just
even
wrong.
be mad if you did that. Like I grew up with those old like terribly dubbed like Kung Fu or like like Ultraman or Godzilla. Like I love that stuff. So we can totally do that. That's chill.
Sounds good.
People, it's off, and I'm like, yeah, it's off.
Yeah, deal with it.
Deal with it.
Good quality content.
This is good quality content.
Hey everyone, my name is D'Angelo, aka Darth Mexican from the Geek Life, and our interview guest today is Joshua Green, aka Lvciferx. Not a U, but a V and an X at the end. So, fantastic artist. If you're not familiar with actually Joshua, would you actually be able to introduce yourself and say a little bit about what you do and all that?
Yeah. So my name is Joshua Green. I go by Lvciferx on Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr, Snapchat, all of that. And I am a comic book artist or illustrator. I don't know. I draw stuff. I try and do like as much as possible, like comic books, horror, graphic design, ad work, stuff like that.
Perfect. And then I always like to ask artists what their actual origin story is. Like when they were little, did they have a family member who actually got them into art? Did they just pick it up out of nowhere and all that kind of stuff?
I don't know, man. Like I lived in Italy, and I went to this. It's like this. It was called the Asilo. Is the way it's told to me, and I guess I just like really wanted to draw back then. And like European schools kind of have like a different way of going about things, and so it was like when I wanted to go off and draw, they would just let me, and I just drew like Spider-Man and Batman all the time and shit like that. And so,
so you were like self-motivated, and you actually went out
yeah. And then like when I got older, like around like 9 or 10, and like I found out about like Akira as a manga rather than an anime. Like I saw the manga, and I was like, wait a minute, somebody drew all of this, and that like blew my mind. And like ever since, I wanted to do something like that, like be able to have like 2,500 pages of like amazing art. Which first I have to get amazing art, and then I could get.
Well, you already got that part down. Definitely search up all this stuff. It's amazing art right now. So, and would you say that you would have more of like a Western influence or more of an Eastern influence when it comes to your artwork? Whether it's like your inspiration or even just your actual artwork.
I mean, even if you look at like Arthur Adams or like Nick Bradshaw, like these American artists who like work for Marvel, their influences are all Eastern. Like they're all manga or anime influences, and so that's super huge for me. Like Katsuhiro Otomo or the lady that did Full Metal Alchemist, like Akira Toriyama, who did Dragon Ball. Like these are all things that like fuel how I want to draw personally. But again, like I love like Arthur Adams, who is an amazing artist and a really good guy, and he's an American illustrator. But again, you can see that Eastern influence on a lot of his stuff.
Awesome. And like a lot of creative folks, there's some point in their career or just like even their week or day that they come into like a sort of a writer's block or an artist's block where they just like put pen to paper and nothing really comes out. How do you, when you experience that, how do you actually overcome it?
Well, like me personally, like I don't know, like I procrastinate a lot as is, and then like I live with depression, and so like that every day is like a struggle. Like already getting up, you're like, God, shit.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. Before I always kind of was very hard on myself. Like why am I not working? Why am I not doing this? And now like within like the last year or so, it's kind of been like, no, it's cool. Like take a little bit of time to yourself and like just chill out. Like don't stress about it, and then it'll start coming back to me. Like okay, like I can start saying like putting things in order. Like this is what I need to work on, and then jumping into that. And like I usually try to like warm up with stuff I like. So like just sitting like doodling like Dragon Ball or Batman or whatever it may be. And then, like, when I start to feel good about it, it's like, okay, now I can tackle, like, this ad that I have to get put together, this logo that I have to design or whatever it is. So, yeah, and it's like, I mean, that's always something that's tough, too, like, especially when you're working for yourself. Like, I went freelance back in May, so that's, like, my full-time job. That's all I do, and it's tough. Like, I didn't think it would be that tough, like, more or less not even getting the work part, like, just the actual motivating yourself to do that. So yeah, I don't know. I think giving yourself time, like being okay with like, you know what, I'm going to take an hour or two, just kind of chill out, and then I'm going to jump back into this is really important.
Okay. And you actually mentioned about being freelance. What differences are there between like having that full-time job and then you have art on your side to actually like having art as your full-time job and taking up clients? What are some of the difficulties you face, and then did you expect them, or are they something you didn't expect at all?
I think it was not a matter of expectation so much as acceptance, because like I knew, like growing up, like being an artist wasn't gonna pay a lot. Like not everybody's gonna get to be Jim Lee, where you get health insurance and dental and eye care and crap like that. Like you're gonna struggle, and especially within the American comic book industry, where it's like you could literally contribute something like Ghostwriter, and the company doesn't care about you, which we've seen that happen. It's extremely unfortunate. And so I always kind of knew, like, if I wanted to be a full-time artist, I wasn't
going to have, like, a super glamorous life.
Yeah.
At least. Yeah.
And I saw it coming, but it was still the hardest thing to accept because, like, before I was working, like, programming for, like, call centers or whatever it may be, like, doing, like, tech work and stuff like that. And, I mean, working overtime and stuff, you make a decent amount of money. Like, you're raking in like 15 to a couple grand a month. And so it was like, I buy a lot of toys. Like, I'm super spontaneous in that regard. Like, I love collecting comic books and, like, little Japanese random mystery figures. I love that stuff. And it was just easy. Like, you just, I'll take like 5 of them, whatever. And now I went to go do that, and I'm like, I don't have, like, any money.
You've learned to, like, budget and, like, actually be very strict. Yeah.
Like, once you pay all your bills, you're like, you really don't have a lot to goof off with. And so that was kind of, for me personally, that was the hardest thing to accept, was like, okay, like, because it was a lifestyle change, obviously. But it's something that, for me personally, was worthwhile because, like, getting out of the cubicle, like, getting out of that workspace and working technically for myself, even though, like, obviously, like, clients and stuff like that, it's been great. Like, it's been huge for, like, my mental health.
Yeah.
It's been huge for, like, just me artistically being able to, like, focus on something. Like, okay, like, I can, even though I'm doing work for other people, like, I'm still getting that muscle memory, that technique down.
It's still your passion. You're doing everything. Would you say, because a lot of people struggle with, like, having something that they actually want to do, but have that fear and never ever get to the chance to quit their job and pursue their dream. Now that you've actually gotten to that point where you are, like, pursuing your dreams and actively doing art, what is that next goal for you? Is it actually just, like, not having freelance clients and making money off of your own work, or is it just, you know, getting more popular in your own stuff or mastering your own art style? Or
I mean, I would personally love to become, like, a stable artist for, like Image or DC or Dark Horse. I would love to work for Dark Horse. But I feel like, I don't know, you got to pay your dues. You got to work up to that point. Like, not everybody's just going to have, like, this hit book and, like, all of a sudden, like, everybody wants to hire you for everything. And I understand that, and I'm accepting of that. I mean, a lot of the people that I'm looking at right now, and a lot of people that, like, inspire me on a daily basis, are, like, Marco Nalor, who does, like, video game design, Dave Stewart, who does, like, color work for Dark Horse, Dave Wilkins, who does, like, studio work for Warner Brothers and stuff like that, or, like, a lot of, like, working in production with, like, something else, or even, like, Becky Cloonan or Brandon Holt, Mike Sutphin, Aaron Horkey, like, guys that are, like, Becky's working for Marvel right now, but she's also doing posters through the Vacuum. Like, her art sells itself rather than having to have, like, the Punisher up top. Like, she can just do something where it's her artwork. And I would love to be at that point, but I recognize, like, you know what, I've only been doing this for a few years now. Like, I need to work my way up to that.
Awesome. Well, right now, is there any sort of, like brand or your own kind of project that you're doing, like, that you wanted to grow into long term, or is it more so you're kind of doing little mini projects here and there that are just...
Yeah, with my own personal free time, I'm doing as many things that are personal to me, as many things that I personally will enjoy, such as, like, I have a series that I work with other artists on called Waiting Nightmares, and that is short horror stories, whether they be, like, in like a novella format or, like, poetry or a comic book.
Yeah.
So it's like you get this mixture, and it's usually like 24 to 30 pages long. And that's been something that I like because it not only helps people get, like, a published, like, hey, my name's in this book.
Yeah.
but also like doing it more and more, you're learning like, okay, like sequentially, how is the best way to tell this story. Right now for Inktober, I'm doing a Dragon Ball Z fan comic with Christopher Ness. And we decided, like, why not put this towards something? We see a lot of guys that do Inktober. It's either just for fun or, like, they collect all of that work in a little book at the end of the month, and then they put it out there for everybody to see. And so him and I both thought, like, yo, this not only will get us better at inking, but this is also going to get us better at telling the story sequentially, which I think is extremely important. You see, like, a lot of artists now, and it's happened a few times here, even within this state, where it's like you have a great pinup artist, somebody who's really, really good at doing that one single shot, but then they get that big opportunity to do sequential work, and because they didn't take the time to practice that. And so I feel like that's really, really important, because, again, that's what I want to do. Like, I would love to become a person who's in a situation to where I could just do sequential art as a living. Like, I don't know. That's what I would love. So, like, right now, it's a bunch of mini projects, hopefully leading toward, like, just me personally in my free time. Other than that, like, I've been doing a lot of band logo design, a lot of band T-shirt design or album artwork. I'm currently working on, like, a poster for a big festival that's going to be going on in Tucson. So that stuff's paying the bills. But, like, me personally, I draw a lot of Dragon Ball Z. I know there's a lot of ladies out there that need a non-slip mat now because of hearing that.
Yes. There you go.
No. Yeah, just like, I don't know, stuff that's fun, stuff that keeps me motivated.
Yeah. Right on. And a bit of a silly question.
Okay.
So you were a supervillain on the verge of taking over the world. The world's superheroes are coming towards you to actually, stop you from taking it over. What two characters from any universe do you have by your side to ensure that your plan, goes through successfully? Whether it's anime, novels, comic books, TV shows, movies, anything like that.
Vegeta, pre-Cell Saga, like mid-Android Saga, where he's just like super selfish and he wants to do everything for himself.
Yeah.
Because he's the strongest there is. Like, I don't care what you think. Goku is nothing. Your boy Vegeta's what's up. And he can handle it, and then either like Kaneda from Akira or Shin-Chan for comedic relief.
Oh, really?
Like, just to kind of keep me amused while Vegeta takes care of things.
I see. Very nice, very nice. And so, where can we find you online? As far as, like, what social medias are you on, and all that kind of stuff, and your handle and everything?
So I am on Instagram. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Tumblr, and I'm on Etsy, all under Lvciferx, Lvciferx. I have a Snapchat that's Lucifer_X because some dick took it before me, and that's mainly just me goofing off and being silly. Like, but everything else is all my art focus. I'm on Facebook under Lvciferx as well. I try to keep up with social media as much as possible because I don't know. I feel like that's super important. Obviously, like, communicating with your fan base, but also like people telling you, like, hey, that looks great, or like, hey, like, something's off about this, and you can look at it and be like, hey, you know what, they're right. Like, let me go back and fix this. I think that's super, super important. So I love that interaction. But yeah, I'm Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Tumblr, Lvciferx. Hit me up. I'm really funny. I'm undeniably charming.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
And you're talented. You're very good.
I work hard. Not only am I talented, but I work hard on top of that.
It's true. And then two other questions.
What's up?
So one of them is I've seen you, personally, since you've entered my life, I've seen you interact with a lot of other people, and you have such, like you said, charm and everything, and you handle the art community like it's a close, like, family and all that kind of stuff. What advice do you have for folks who want to get into that, and why should they take the time and effort to get to know their other fellow artists rather than seeing them as competition or, like, someone to avoid and all that kind of stuff? So,
well, again, like you said, like, a lot of artists, for whatever reason, like at conventions or at portfolio reviews, it's like like you said, it's like a competition, and it's why is that a thing? The more we all work together, the more we're all able to push one another. We're only going to get better. We're all only going to succeed even more so than we already have, and that's why, like, I think it's really, really important to like Christopher Ness is a huge like artistic influence for me right now. Chris Craney is another local artist who's a huge influencer. Like I said, like Erwin Papa, who lives like out in California, he's a phenomenal artist, like amazing. And to have him like something on my Instagram and be like, hey man, like this looks good, but you could do this better. For Dave Wilkins to be like, yo man, like this, you're doing really, really well right now, but in this way you could be moving forward a little bit more. Like even like friends and family, like, hey, like why are you should be drawing more people of color. Like you're in a position now to where these characters may be going somewhere, and that's why like with Blaze or Tormenta here for Phoenix, Arizona, like that's huge, like having that diversity. I think it's super, super important to not only be connected to your community, but to be an active participant in it. You can't sit there and complain about like, oh, this con isn't, I'm not going to do this con because I didn't do so well, or I'm not going to interact with these individuals because whatever reason, if you're not yourself doing something to better what's going on. I've only gotten better as an artist because of the Phoenix art community. I've only gotten better as an artist because of the Tucson community, and I'm going to continue to put as much as I can into each of those because of what they've given me.
Nice. Good.
So, and I guess to answer your question too there, I think if you want to get into it, just get into it. Like, be outgoing. I'm extremely introverted. Like, as much as an asshole as I sound, like I'm very, very introverted. And so just like go talk with people, like find artists that you like. I love your artwork. Like I love the way you did this hand. I love your style, like things like that. And just keep that that communication open and continuous. And eventually you'll find yourself going to like little art meetups or having a table at Phoenix Comic Con, which is an amazing convention. Give me a free table. I would love it. And that'll help you in that regard, most definitely.
Perfect. And then, what piece of advice do you have for aspiring artists? And now, usually when I say this question or ask this question, the response is always like, "Don't give up, keep trying," and all that kind of stuff. But I was wondering, what piece of advice would you give that goes beyond that? Like, for example, one artist actually had said, find a mentor, like someone that you really admire, and then like see what they do and how they would handle a situation. That way you can apply it to your own stuff. So, what kind of advice would you give to an aspiring artist for the?
Well, the mentor thing really resonates with me because that's how I was. Like I found somebody whose artwork I sincerely enjoyed a great deal and worked together, and it's just like I've had a few mentors actually, and it's like they've been really good experiences and then they've been absolutely horrible experiences, but each time I learned something. And I mean, definitely like the don't give up part is something that's huge, but it's like there's a lot of times it's not just like, oh, don't give up, and it's going to be that easy to where you just don't give up. Like, no, like there are times where I'm just like, screw this, like why?
Yeah.
And I think it's just a matter of like, again, looking at not only your progress, which I think social media is really good for now. I'm able to go back to my Instagram and be like, I suck now, but I sucked even more like 2 years ago. And for me to have come this far, like I'm only gonna get better. I'm only gonna progress and move forward to a point where I'm happy with my artwork. But I think the mentor thing's huge, or not even necessarily a mentor, but like finding other artists, like and just like meeting up like every Tuesday for an art night. Like, hey, like let's just not even like draw the same thing together, just draw together within the same room.
Create that community and everything.
Yeah, and I don't know. I for someone as introverted as I am, I feel like that connectivity was instrumental in me pushing myself more, because I had people that were sitting there like, again, I think my stuff sucks, and here you are like, no, like it's good. Like you sought me out, like, hey, let's do this interview.
Yep.
And that's huge for me. Like I'm going to go home, like, and I may not cry myself to sleep tonight because of that. And I love that. Like that's fuel for me to continue doing this. So I think that's very, very important. Find that connectivity, not necessarily rely on it, but definitely find it and definitely utilize it if you can.
Yeah, I can definitely understand that, because even like as a writer, it's the same thing where both of us, before the product's actually finished, we're alone and doing what we're doing until people can actually see it, which might take a long time and all that. So it's definitely good to find a community. So it is really good advice. Yeah, and
be open to criticism too. Don't be that dick that's just like, oh no, like this is exactly the way I wanted it to be.
Yeah, it's best ever.
Yeah. Like I'm wrong. I'm always wrong. I'm always finding ways to do things differently, or to like new perspectives. Because again, my this is but my perspective on the artistic community, both in Phoenix and within comic books abroad. Like, there are a multitude of other perspectives that you can learn from. So don't find one person or even think of yourself as that one person and stick to that one ideal. Like, constantly change the way you see things, but never lose your principles. Most definitely.
Perfect. Well, thank you again for answering a few of our questions. Once again, this is Joshua Green, a.k.a. Lucifer.
Once again, this is D'Angelo Murley, a.k.a. Big Sexy.
Thank you. And make sure to check him out and follow him, because he has fantastic artwork, and he's definitely coming up, so go check it out.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. So see you guys later.